one of the most important things that I want to get over in this DVD is that to use NLP for coaching as opposed to for therapy, it's useful to have a framework that you're using it in. And I tend to divide the framework in two sets of things. The firstly is a group of elements sequential, and secondly there's a group of elements that I may use, I may not use, but I'll bring them in when they're needed. Now in this DVD we're going to concentrate mainly on the sequential elements, and I'll run through them. The first one is a frame. It's setting the frame at the beginning of the meeting so you get the best value out of it. Second one is state. What's my emotional, what's my physical state, but also the person I'm coaching. What sort of states are they in? Because helping them to access the right states, both in the meeting and outside, will enable them to connect with their best resources to use in any situation. When we've got people in a good state, we then look at what they want, what outcomes, what's really important to them. Because sometimes getting people to set big, bold outcomes is the first stage of actually making them successful. And sometimes it's challenging them or chiding them to actually set bigger outcomes, because often if you set bigger outcomes, some of the crap and the rubbish that holds us back will just disappear. After outcomes, it's about getting into rapport, because if we want to explore what people are doing now, and sometimes it's what people are doing now is what's holding them back, we want to be in rapport with them, because sometimes it can be tricky for people to be honest and open about what they're doing now. And in a way, the only way that they will improve their performance is being honest with themselves about what they're doing at the moment. And curiously enough, if you can just get people to be open and to be honest, to be more aware of what they're doing at the moment, that process on its own will help them be aware of what they can fine-tune and what they can improve. And I don't necessarily have to do anything about it. Just by getting them to realize what actions they're taking at the moment will actually help them improve. After we've got them to be aware of what they're doing now, there are lots of NLP techniques. Now, you can read about NLP techniques in lots of books, and I'm not going to spend too much time on them at the moment, because you can read them, you can look at them yourselves. The point I want to make to you is, if you get this framework right, if you take people through the sequence as we're doing, you will find that the techniques or what you need to do will come naturally. The next thing that we'll look at is future pacing. Now, future pacing is one of the most important things that connects the work we do in a coaching session with the outside world. What's important about future pacing is to let people imagine that they're doing a very small step, but actually doing a very small step at some time in the future. By getting people to imagine that they're taking action, then what it tends to do is that they begin to find that they automatically do that stuff in the real world outside. It actually moves them from the theory of a coaching session or a session in an office, so that they actually do stuff easily and comfortably in the outside world. And lastly, just as we started with a frame, we end with a frame that puts the session in some sort of context, so that it sort of wraps it up and leaves it so that the client leaves the session in the most positive way, that they will take any action that they need to move in that direction of where they want to go. So what we're going to do really in this DVD is to go through each of those steps so you can actually find and learn a little bit more about them.